You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. We live in a world where justice is supposed to be blind, fair, and rooted in truth by international legal standards. But what happens when that justice system is manipulated? When testimony is tainted by personal agendas? Or when opportunists see a man's downfall as their financial gain? This is the reality surrounding R. Kelly's legal battles. One that raises serious questions about the credibility of some of the individuals seeking payment from him today. The Grammy-winning R&B artist was wrongfully convicted and overly sentenced in 2 federal cases. One in New York for the controversial racketeering and sex trafficking charges that were not appropriate for his case, and another in Chicago for child sex crimes that should have been dismissed in honor of the statutes of limitations that existed at the time of the alleged crimes. While the courts have spoken, it is vital to remember that not every voice in that courtroom was one of truth. As we examine the recent petition demanding nearly $10 million from Kelly, we must take a hard look at the credibility of some of those demanding this rather humongous payment from an already overcharged R. Kelly. Among the petitioners are individuals like Lisa Van Allen and Faith Rogers. Names that have circulated for years in the court of public opinion. But what many don't know or conveniently forget is the history of contradictions and self-serving actions tied to some of these claimants. Lisa Van Allen, for example, has been caught in inconsistencies regarding her own role in events she has described, at times positioning herself as a victim and at other times seemingly benefiting from her association with R. Kelly. She even self-incriminated when she suggested she was having threesomes with minors at age 17, yet it is now known she was 18. In fact, if government was out to look for abusers, she should be in prison. Faith Rogers, who is another accuser, made headlines with her own claims, but under scrutiny, her allegations raise questions about intent and credibility. Remember, she was also an adult way in her 20s when she met with R. Kelly and shouldn't be qualifying for such settlements as she already received for alleged trafficking and the said forced labor that doesn't exist. Legal cases have shown that in some instances, financial motives have played a part in accusations not just against R. Kelly, but against other high-profile figures. We must ask, how many of these claims are genuine, and how many are attempts to secure a payout? Almost all are unfair attempts to defraud the already exploited R&B king. And this brings us to the core issue, which is money. A $10.3 million judgment was entered against R. Kelly, and that is a sum meant to compensate alleged victims who claim they were traumatized by the said scare blamed on Don Russell during the premiering of the surviving R. Kelly documentary. As of now, they claim he still owes nearly $10 million. But let's consider the reality. R. Kelly, who is already incarcerated and unfairly muted, has no active revenue stream and no ability to tour, to record or generate income as he once did. And yet, rather than seeking justice in the form of closure or accountability, certain individuals are focused on securing financial compensation. Just last December, a payment of over $200,000 was made. Yet the petitioners, who are already full to the stomach with money they never worked for, now claim that this barely covered the interest on the supposed judgment. This isn't about justice anymore. It's about profit. About taking whatever they can from a man who no longer has the means to defend himself after all his protections were ignored and his rights violated. We live in an age where media narratives dictate reality. The documentary Surviving R. Kelly painted a damning picture, one that left little room for doubt in the public's mind. But what that documentary failed to address were the inconsistencies, the contradictions, the history of some accusers who went from willing participants to self-proclaimed victims. We have seen time and again how public figures are taken down through calculated accusations. Some true, some exaggerated, and some outright false. And in Kelly's case, we must ask whether he was truly given a fair chance, or if he was the weight of public perception enough to determine his fate long before he set foot in a courtroom. The justice system is supposed to be about uncovering the truth, holding the guilty accountable, and protecting the innocent. However, it has lately become clear that in many high-profile cases, justice has been replaced by media-fueled narratives and financial gain. When a person is convicted, it is expected that true justice will follow. But when individuals with questionable pasts and conflicting testimonies seek monetary compensation, it becomes evident that money and not justice is their true objective. Even in past cases unrelated to Kelly, we have seen false accusations tear lives apart. Numerous exonerations have come decades too late, proving that our justice system is flawed and often swayed by public opinion rather than facts. If we can acknowledge that wrongful convictions occurred, why do we refuse to question the motivations of individuals who stand to profit from their claims? The R. Kelly case has set a dangerous precedent. If money can be made from false accusations, then what stops false claims from flooding our legal system? It creates a culture where men, especially prominent figures, must live in fear of being accused without evidence, knowing that their accusers may be financially rewarded regardless of the truth. This isn't just about R. Kelly. It's about all individuals who have faced wrongful accusations and those who will face them in the future. We must stand against the exploitation of the legal system, against those who see justice as a means to a payday, and against those who twist narratives for personal gain. When financial incentives and not proof drive accusations like these, when past inconsistencies are ignored, when opportunists see a man's legal struggles as their personal payday, we must ask, where does the real injustice lie? R. Kelly is already paying with his life, serving decades-long sentences in prison, a career destroyed and a legacy in ruins. Yet for some that is not enough. They want more and they are willing to do whatever it takes to get it. So as we move forward, let us challenge the narratives. Let us seek truth beyond the headlines. And let us never allow the justice system to become another tool for those looking to profit from a man's fall. If we fail to ask these hard questions, then we allow the erosion of truth, the corruption of justice and the manipulation of public perception to continue unchecked. The time for blind acceptance is over. And the time for truth is now. If you want to be featured in our video releases, send us your clips by emailing them to hnnewsroom242@gmail.com or use Google Drive for larger files. Be sure to include your name and any details you'd like us to know. We can't wait to showcase your contributions. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say. To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.